right, guys, welcome to the show. This is good afternoon from a whole new hotel room. We're here in this paper thin walls Roach Motel, Wesley Chapel, Florida, getting ready to do Side Splitters Comedy Club starting tonight, 8 o'clock. Then two shows tomorrow night, two shows on Saturday night. WatchChad.com is where all the fun stuff is. I'm in Florida all week long, and then I'm heading over to Orlando to do Porky's in St. Cloud. So get your tickets and come hang out with us. It's going to be in Florida. It's a little chilly out here today, but I flew all night and got myself all set up in this room just to come in here and hang out with you. So I hope the microphone's working. Hope the camera's working. I think we got it all sorted out. I've turned the camera so you can't see the toilet. There's no door on the bathroom. You can see my open suitcases and some cords and stuff that we had to get because I just came in here, threw it all out, and boom, here we are doing a podcast on a Thursday afternoon. Welcome to the Chad Prather Show. Donald Trump has been named Times Person of the Year, and Mark Zuckerberg decided to get deep in those pockets and pay a little money to Donald Trump's Inauguration Fund. Well, I want to talk about some of those things, and let's also talk about some of those SUV-sized drones that are flying over New Jersey. Is it happening? Is it not happening? The government wants to tell you it's not happening. We'll talk about that a little bit and get into some other things as well. I'm glad you guys are here. Make sure that you're hitting the like button, hit the share button, tell everybody about the Chad Prather Show. It's good stuff, and big things coming up in the first part of next year. As you know, I will be co-hosting alongside Graham Allen on his Dear America show. The Chad Prather Show will also be on the Dear American Network. We got a lot of stuff going on. And here to join me in talking about all things next year and exciting stuff is the world's most favorite producer, Royce Chamberlain at Royce Chamberlain on X. What's up, buddy? I'm like close to you.
You're like 20 minutes away from me, man.
I'm like in your town, bro.
You are. Hey, pull that mic a little bit closer.
We'll pull it a little bit closer. I just want, when I pull it up, see the camera wants to focus on the mic and not on me. You know what I'm saying? But we're doing the best we can. We're doing the best we can. How we look, how we sound. We okay? We good?
I think we're good. Yeah.
All right.
You'll let us know in the
right.
comments. But how you liking Florida so far? You come here often or no?
Yeah, I come here a lot. So I'm in this little Roach Motel. I call it that. There's no really nice motels right here by this.
Is there such
comedy
thing as a
club.
nice motel?
No.
If it's got
they'll
motel
fool
in
you.
the name,
Yeah, they'll fool you. I mean, all of them are nasty, right? Sometimes I spend most of my life in hotels and motels or on the road somewhere, and you just realize how nasty all of these germified places are. But I was so happy to get out of Vegas. Vegas. I'm not a. I don't know. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe. Are you that way?
a little bit. Yeah, I keep pretty
I'm
clean.
a little bit. Yeah, I wash my hands a lot. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe. Like as soon as I walk off stage from doing a live show, the first thing I do, usually if I get backstage or in the green room, is I wash my hands. It's just like a habit.
Let me ask you.
Because my hands have sweated. I don't know, but yeah.
I get it. Are you the kind of guy, because I am, when you go pump gas at the gas station, as soon as you get back in the car, you got some hand sanitizer ready? Lather up. Because every time, man, if I get in the car after pumping gas, I gotta hand sanitizer something because it just feel nasty after.
Yeah, I've got a musician friend of mine who keeps a work glove in the back seat of his truck, and when he pumps gas, he puts the work glove on so he doesn't touch the handle.
That's smart, actually.
It actually is pretty smart, but he keeps a leather work glove back there, and he puts those on to pump the gas. I'm like, all right, here we go. But no, I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, and yesterday I was sitting down at the blackjack table. I was next to my buddy Steve Helms, the Texas legend. I was sitting next to him and I looked up at the dealer, the blackjack dealer, and he kept blowing his nose. He kept pulling a tissue out of his pocket and wiping his nose. And then he would put the tissue back in his pocket, and then he would pull it back out. And finally, Steve looked at me. He goes, "That's driving you crazy, isn't it?" And I said, "It's seriously driving me crazy." I'm like, "Brother, you got any sanitizer around here? Anything like because you're handling us cards and chips and everything else. And you got your snot on your hands." And he's like, "Oh," he thought it was funny. I was like, "It's not funny. It's not funny." So anyway, I'm a germaphobe like that. So every hotel that I come into, I think about that. My buddy Mike Rowe on Dirty Jobs, I can remember him talking about every time he came into a hotel room, basically take the remote control for the TV and the little top cover of the blanket on the bed and just throw those things in the corner and forget they exist. Because they're so covered in germs. But I mean, you're laying your head on a pillow that thousands of people have laid their heads on, and so you just have to get it out of your head. You just have to
Really,
get your
Dirty Jobs guy Mike Rowe does that.
Yeah, he does. Mike told me that. He told me that, and he's like, yeah, there's certain things in a hotel. He said, it's gross, dude, because I mean that's their deal with Dirty Jobs is to go out there and find dirty things, and so
Yeah, exactly.
every now and then he'll talk about hotels, and hotels are just they're dingy, dude. They're dingy. So this one isn't nice. But you know what? That's what our immune systems are for. That's why God put nose hair in our our hairs in our nose.
In our brains.
You know, that's why. Anyway, yeah. So I'm here for a week. I head over after I'm done here this weekend, and we head over towards the Orlando area, like I said. So I am in Florida a pretty good bit, and I'm looking forward to a good week. I just didn't want to travel all the way back to Texas. It's hard. Like I don't really want to be gone for a full week, but I didn't want to travel all the way back to Texas, turn around, and come right back to Florida. So anyway, this routing was kind of weird. But anyway, you and your wife try to come out tonight. Come hang with us.
We will.
Tonight will be probably the smaller show. It's Thursday, so but we always have a good time out here in Wesley Chapel. Trump, man, I want to talk about him being named Person of the Year. It doesn't surprise me at all. We'll get into that. Before we do, I wish I had Trump's mind. I mean, we talk about that. He is so sharp on so many different things. He is such a quirky, eccentric dude, but the guy doesn't sleep. I mean, he's just focused all the time. He's focused on the project, on the job at hand. He's always rocking and rolling. And so I've been taking Magic Mind because I think that Magic Mind's going to help me have the sharp mind like Trump, right? And so I was talking to our folks over at Magic Mind. I said, I keep telling them about it. Tell them about the product. You know, it's basically an energy shot. You drink the thing every single day. You can take their 3-day challenge, their 7 challenge. It's all the stuff that you should be taking: the lion's mane, the ashwagandha, the L-theanine, the B vitamins. All of those things is all in that mental performance shot, and it tastes perfectly fine. Gives you mental clarity, motivation. Makes the the synapses fire off, and it creates new. Little new connectors in your brain so that you think better and you got a calm energy. So I'm encouraging everybody to head over to magicmind.com/Chad. And at checkout, use promo code CHAD, CHAD, I'll spell it Chad, and get yourself a little discount over there. You can get the 15-bottle, 30-bottle, or 60-bottle pack. They just line my refrigerator. And every day, open them up, pull one out of the box, drink it. So anyway, it's good stuff. Man, I'm glad you guys are on the show today. I'm glad you guys are watching. I want you to put Trump in the chat. Just type it out, Daddy Trump. You don't have to type the daddy part, but that's my fun thing. I want everybody to say Trump, 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 Trump in the chat. Come on, let me see you in the chat. Type Trump. I want to know that you're there. As I'm sitting here looking at the thing here, and y'all are being lazy. Y'all are just too busy listening. I need y'all to engage. There it is. Trump, 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 Trump. Come on, blow it up. Blow up the chat. I love it. I love it when Graham does that thing, and I just think it just flips right on through there. And you're like, why do we do that? It helps the algorithm. It lets the overlords know that you guys are there and you're engaged, and we want you to be engaged. All right, let's talk about this thing. So Time Magazine, they basically had to do that. I mean, he's the man of the year. He is the person of the year. Today was the day they made that announcement. He also rang the bell on Wall Street this morning, and he's the first person, or first president, to ring the bell to open up Wall Street, the stock market, since Ronald Reagan. So that's sort of a historic deal there. But there's Trump. That's a great picture of him, huh, Royce? That's a pretty solid. Uh-oh, you muted.
My bad.
Yeah,
I muted for the Magic Mind so you could read.
you.
You don't hear me like sniffing and stuff or whatever.
Nobody
wants that.
There with the sniffles. Yeah.
It's cold. Hey, if it's like high 70s yesterday and now it's like low 60s, I'm gonna get the sniffles. It's just how it is. How it is.
No,
but
it was,
this is a good photo of Trump.
It's a good photo of Trump. Very distinguished. I wonder if that's a real photo or if that's sort of AI. or if they took a real photo and ran it through some AI. And you never can tell anymore with this kind of stuff.
True.
But anyway, Person of the Year, well deserved. I mean, they tried to assassinate him twice. He won both the popular vote as well as the Electoral College. I mean, it's the greatest political comeback in the history of ever. Anywhere, and so it's tremendous what he's done. He's kind of riding a wave right now of popularity and favor. Now, I don't think that's going to last, right? I think that once he's in office, the media is still going to do everything they can to try to make him negative. So, Trump is still standing by his deportation orders. I mean, I love listening to Tom Homan when he gives a speech or when he talks and tells people what he's going to do because he's so blunt and to the point. He's talking to those folks in Chicago. He says the reason you have a problem in Chicago is because your mayor sucks and your governor sucks. That's his words. And he said, we're going to fix this. We're going to start right here in Chicago. Trump has even said, no, we're not going to separate families. We're going to deport the entire family. And that while that sounds mean, I want to explain something to you guys. So the media, when this starts to happen, these are the kind of things that the media is going to try to do once Trump is in office. They're going to call they're building more detention centers for the illegals that are here that they've got to process and deport out of the country. They're going to call them camps. Guaranteed they're going to call them camps. That you mark my words, and I'm never wrong. They will say that they're putting them in prison camps, in their internment camps, these kind of things. They're going to make it look like a gulag. AOC will be down there crying at the fence again, pretending for her photo op that she's heartbroken over these illegals. They will talk about children being separated from their families. All of this rhetoric's going to come back. And it's going to be, forget the fact that there are now more illegal military-aged men in our country, illegals, than we have in our own United States military. There are more illegal fighting-age men in our country right now than we have in our military. Let that sink in. That's a major deal. That's a major deal, Royce. But anyway, yes, we know, Royce, his audio levels are above Chad's. I'm in a hotel room. He's in a studio.
I pulled my mic away a little bit. Yeah, I've got mine fine-tuned. We whipped Chad's together last second, so
yeah,
you can probably bump it up a little bit.
I had to go get a little interface for the mic here, so we could get a little phantom power on it.
There you go.
But there's going to be media outcry. Yes, they'll call him Person of the Year, but they will villainize him. So he can ride the wave while he can right now of this positivity of people doing the dance out on the football field, things like that. But all of that is going to change. All of that's going to change, Royce. How long do you think it'll be before the negativity starts to really hammer down? I mean, I think as soon as he starts enacting policies day one, that's when it's going to be, he's literally Hitler again. What do you think?
I agree. I think that they're just going to take everything that he does and flip it kind of day one because it's not exactly what they want. I think it's already started. They've already started with his talk about tariffs. They're blowing up about his talk about tariffs and all these different things in Canada, and that seems to really make the left irate. But I don't know. I just hope, all I can hope is that they can see the peace that comes out of all this, and they can see that the war ends and that the economy gets better, and they have nothing to talk about. How do you fight that? How do you fight that? Joe Biden he kept putting up the facade for years. The economy's great. We're doing great with the economy. Bidenomics is working. That's what he would say. It's working. It never worked. It made things worse. Right. Nobody ever saw the benefits of what Joe Biden did. I think we've already seen benefits of what Donald Trump has done just by being president-elect, when he's actually the president and pushing policy and things are working. I just hope that there's nothing that they can do, but it's the left, so I wouldn't put it past them.
And they're crazy, and they're going to come up with some insane ideas, and they're good at twisting. These people on the mainstream media, man. It's funny for me to watch them basically see the demise of their own industry because no one trusts the institution of the mainstream media anymore. The legacy media is dead, and they know it's on life support, and there's really nothing they can do to bring it back. And I've heard, oh gosh, who was it? Was it what's her name, Leslie Stahl or whatever? She was doing that little panel chat where she said, I don't know what we can do about it to bring it back. We don't know where we lost the trust of the people. And she was basically blaming Donald Trump for exposing the mainstream media. It's like, you guys were the ones who were lying. You were the ones who, interrupted J.D. Vance and fact-checked him nonstop. And then when he tried to fact-check you, you cut his microphone off. Maybe if you guys were serious about journalism and truth, then people would trust you again. But, when you take a 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris and you edit it so that the rest of the stuff that she said is cut out, and then you won't release the transcript when people want to see it, nobody's going to trust you anymore. You see this stuff coming out with January 6th right now, and the way they're spinning this thing again. And, look, Joe Biden, I put my phone down, Joe Biden, he just pardoned, what was it, 38, 39 people. At the one was like a person who had child pornography, which included the rape of a baby, and he pardoned these people, let them out of prison, and it's like, because they were non-violent crimes. I mean, the fact that we're putting up with this kind of insanity in our world, whether it's from the media or the justice system or the Biden administration or anything else, nobody trusts them anymore, because again, it's insanity, and they're trying to normalize it, like we were talking about yesterday. So, they don't like authority. Here's the thing. This country, this generation has been overmothered and underfathered. We've been taught that victimhood is a virtue, that you can manufacture your oppression, and when somebody comes in and tries to fix your problems, then you see yourself as being further oppressed, and that person who's trying to fix you is just a bigger bully. So when Trump comes in, and I love the images that we saw of him going over to that reopening and rededication of Notre Dame there in Paris, and how the world stage received him and accepted him. Everybody was excited to see him. There was pomp and circumstance. There was some reverence to his presence. It wasn't Joe Biden fumbling and, trying to walk, and staggering around like C-3PO with claw hands. Donald Trump came in there. People, they greeted him. They accepted him. It's like, okay. I always give Amjad, our buddy Amjad, I give him a hard time because he'll send me these tweets or these Instagram posts, and he loves to say, America is so back. And I'm like, we can only say that so many times, right? He loves that phrase, America is back, America is so back. But when I saw Trump, those video images of him in Paris, I was like, America's kind of back. Like there's back to having some respect there, and not, watching Joe Biden wander off into the bushes somewhere.
Can you believe that Kamala Harris was under consideration for Person of the Year? She was on their list of possible people of the year. Kamala Harris?
Yeah. I mean,
the woman who's never been voted in for anything, lost the election, $20 million in taxpayer debt, right, for the DNC. Person of the Year? Are you kidding?
Yeah, that to me is the equivalent of them giving the Nobel Peace Prize to Barack Obama before he'd ever been elected or done anything. And he was the biggest warmonger of all of them in modern history. So anyway, I love that people are still telling me that my volume is down, and I'm telling you there's literally nothing I can do about it.
It's up. It sounds fine to me.
Yeah, it's probably how it translates on whatever platform you're on. I'm literally in a hotel room. There's only so much I can do here. I'm happy that it was Trump. It's well deserved. I think that's what he needed. I think that's what Time Magazine should have done. But also, Time Magazine's not stupid. They know how to sell issues, right? They know how to sell their magazine. And they just saw 76 million people vote for Trump. And a lot of those people, you know what? They're going to buy Time Magazine when they hadn't bought Time Magazine in 25 or 30 years or ever. But they'll buy that as a commemorative issue. Watch and see. They will. They know. So they know how to sell magazines. But anyway, that's the issue. That's the issue. And you're right. I mean, Kamala Harris, I love what you said there, Whiplash. She's a world-class moron. So that is special.
Is.
I mean, she had to really step up her game to be that stupid, and she is. Kamala is that idiotic. So anyway. But Mark Zuckerberg, who I do not trust, I'm not praising Mark Zuckerberg at all. Mark Zuckerberg he should be in prison. He did meddle in the 2020 election. They did hide information. They did label certain things dis and misinformation. There were things that I mean, if you posted a picture of Hunter Biden in his underwear wearing that red scarf and sunglasses, you got a ban. You got a ban on Facebook. Some people got it up to a month. People were shadow banned. You couldn't talk about the computer. You couldn't talk about the hard drives. You couldn't talk about any of that stuff. So Mark Zuckerberg directly meddled in the 2020 election, and now he's trying to make nice because I think he's seen what Elon Musk has done. He's seen what Joe Rogan has done, and so he's donated $1 million to Donald Trump's inauguration fund, which is no small change, dude. But he's I don't know what level of the spectrum he's on, but he's a weird little dude. And I don't know, maybe like I've said, some of that testosterone's finally rubbing off on him because he's been wrestling on the ground with those Brazilian jiu-jitsu and MMA guys. But this is what Mario Nawfal said on X. He said, after a turbulent history of threats and suspensions, Meta's Zuckerberg is carefully courting Trump 2.0. Beyond the 1 million, I can't talk. Beyond the $1 million inaugural donation, he's given the president-elect private demos of Meta's smart glasses and hosted strategy sessions with the incoming White House officials at Mar-a-Lago. Even longtime Trump critic Jeff Bezos has changed tune. I've noticed that as well, calling Trump calmer and more confident this time around. And I tend to agree with that. There's an element of maturity to Trump this time around that I didn't see the last time. He's not as bombastic. He's very serious, very, very serious, because we almost lost our country. I mean, significantly so. Yeah. We almost lost our country. So, we'll see. He's going to have to reset the algorithms to satisfy me, but he needs to face consequences. I love that image right there of Elon and Trump eating McDonald's on Trump Force One, and there's Zuckerberg wanting to be part of the club. But I don't trust him. I sued the man. I won back in 2022. I don't. Right Meta, they're brutal, bro. They're brutal. Yeah, I was just on the phone. I was just on the phone with an influencer last night, and I'm not going to call her name. She's a Nashville country music singer, very well known. A lot of you guys probably follow her or know who she is. I'm not going to, but she called me last night and she said, I'm trying to figure this out. She said, I clicked like on a Kid Rock video of something he was saying that was pro-Trump. She said, I clicked like on Instagram on his deal. She said, and my whole deal has gone dark. She said, everything's gone. She said, I unclicked that thing, and she said, I was like, I better take that off because I'm gonna catch a lot of crap if they see I clicked on Kid Rock's deal. And it was one other person she clicked like on it. I can't remember who it was, but she said, I unclicked it. She said, my whole thing she said, my screen went dark. She said, everything on there. She said, now I'm completely shadow banned. I can't do anything. She's got a book coming out here pretty soon. She's got all this stuff going on. She said, I can't promote anything. I mean, when it comes to selling tickets or anything. And I said, really, just over clicking something that was pro-Trump? And she said, that's exactly what happened. She said, I promise you that's exactly what happened. Those kind of things, man, there's got to be some penalties for stuff like that. There's got to be some penalties for stuff like that. And so, Zuckerberg, especially when it affected the election, like it did in 2020, but Zuckerberg's trying to kiss that tail, man. He wants to make sure that he stays on Trump's good side. I think Trump is a little more shrewd and sly than that. I think he's a little bit wiser to see through all that. I mean, Trump's the kind of guy, I'll take your $1 million, we'll put it in the inauguration fund, but we're not gonna play this game. We're not gonna just let Zuckerberg off the hook. He's got some restitution to do.
If I remember, Zuckerberg even asked Trump, or maybe he didn't ask Trump, but he was talking about how he would like a cabinet position. Like, I think he's just kissing butt to try and get on the good side of who he knows is the real leader of America and who he knows he's done some wrong to. Yeah. I think he wants to be on his good side and he's trying everything he can to be. But hey, you were a part of what almost got this guy killed. You were a part of what stole the 2020 election and all these different things. You were a part of the COVID massacre is what we'll call it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long road for forgiveness. I think especially on Trump's end. But hey, it's there. People come around. Hopefully Zuckerberg has seen the light. I don't know, but he's got a long way to go before I think I trust him or anybody else does.
I'll just tell you right up front, I need some free speech on your platform, bro. Like, I need you to reset some algorithms. I need it to go back to like 2015 numbers, 2014, 2015, where we could put stuff out there. And if somebody chose to follow, I mean, just think about it like this. If there's several million people that follow me on Facebook, they chose to follow me, and now you're not going to allow them to see me. I mean, if you had a subscription to Amazon Prime or whatever, and you were watching your movies on there, but they only let you watch 20% of the movies that were available to other people, you would want a refund on your subscription, right? If I click that I'm subscribing to this, or I want to follow this, or I like this, then I should have the right to look at the content. You don't get to dictate to me what I consume. You know, Zuckerberg does not get to censor me. He doesn't get to protect my ears, my delicate mind. He doesn't get to do any of those things. That is on me. But again, we live in a generation where no critical thinking, no common sense. So boom, 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 boom. All right, let's go to the next thing here. Pop it up there, baby. I tell you, there's so much going on. This is a wild story right here. You know, we know about the Ryan Ralph, however you say his name. He was a guy who was in the trees there at the golf course and had plans on another assassination attempt against Trump. I will just say, you go back and research your MK Ultra stuff again, and the drugs, the brainwashing, all the stuff. I think this guy lines up pretty close to with what we've been describing this week as well about that. But Trump Assassination Task Force reveals that the Secret Service agent who spotted Ryan Ralph in the trees at the golf course opened fire on the suspect and missed him 6 times from 5 feet away. I don't understand how that's possible. I don't understand how you could do that. Like 5 feet away. I mean, that's like feet. That's like pointing your. You know, if you're gonna shoot something with a firearm, they say that like if it's that close, like 6 feet, you know, you basically like you're pointing your finger, right? It's basically like you're pointing your finger. You don't have to line up your sights or anything like that, because at that close, you just don't have to do that. But from 5 feet away, you're either trying to miss or you're really bad. I mean, you're really bad. Like, ooh, like you, I will just say it, that's a DEI hire. You need to spend a little more time. And
this is Secret Service shooting at him. Like, that is unacceptable, you know?
Yeah. I mean, a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. God rest Peanut. Rest in peace, Peanut.
Rest in peace.
He's finding those nuts in the sky right now. Poor Peanut. And scroll down to that story. Scroll down a little bit more on that thing, Royce. That's did we have the clip of because there was some body cam footage, right?
This is the Fox News clip. This is all that I've seen.
Can you play it? Is it worth playing? I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a minute and a half.
Remind me if it's worth playing. Let's play a little piece of it. Let's see what's up.
We got 2 new revelations from the Trump Assassination Task Force. According to their report, the Secret Service agent who spotted Ryan Ruth in the bushes outside Trump's golf course was only 5 feet away when he opened fire and missed him. Not once, not twice, 6 times. He missed him 6 times from 5 feet. How does a trained agent who passed the firearms test miss a target 5 feet away? That's not all. The report says the Secret Service found out at 2:30 in the morning that Trump would be golfing later that day, but they didn't secure the course, allowing Ruth to camp out for 12 hours before anyone saw him. Meanwhile, Ruth appeared in federal court this morning, and his legal team signaling they're going to go with the insanity defense. How convenient.
Yeah.
Ruth's public defender said he has had multiple meetings with a mental health expert while in jail, and the witnesses who saw him before the arrest say he was hallucinating and delusional, of course. Prosecutors also revealed that Ruth has been doing a lot more writing behind bars than initially reported. Yep. Ruth has written nearly 40 letters to news outlets in an attempt to persuade them that he's an honorable guy. But they were intercepted before they reached their targets. We also know that only 17 of the 18 cell phones found in Ruth's possession belong to him. Why does he have 18 cell phones? And wait, he has 17. So who owns the last phone? And why did Ruth have it?
There you go. We wind up with more questions than we do with answers with all of this stuff always. But, you know, it's funny to me, Royce, these guys always kind of fit the same characteristics and descriptions mentally, and they're gonna they start writing their stuff and their manifestos and their letters, and people say, oh, they're going to do an insanity plea now that they're pointing out, trying to say that this guy who did the shooting in New York, this Luigi Mangione, is schizophrenic. Of course they are. I mean, of course they are. What you find in these people is they're highly intelligent people. They tend to be highly intelligent people, but something has manipulated their brain, almost like the things we've been talking about all this week. But whatever. If I hold up 5 fingers, if you don't see 6, then you have a problem. We're gonna have to run the shockwaves through you one more time. I mean, this is Orwellian. This is 1984. Do not believe what your eyes and ears are telling you. And so but to miss a guy you had to be trying to miss. You don't miss somebody 6 times from 5. I promise you don't. I promise you don't. You just don't. Not if you've qualified with a firearm, and I would say the Secret Service has done some form of qualifications with a firearm. Have we heard from Dan Bongino? Have we heard anything from Dan Bongino? Do we know if he's going to get that nod to go to the Secret Service? I know that Graham talks to Dan. He hears from Dan a lot more than I do, but he still kind of mums the word, right? We still haven't heard.
I ask often, Graham, if he's heard anything, and last I checked, I think it was yesterday morning, and he's not heard anything. We had Anna Polina Luna on the show this morning, and we asked her about it. She agrees that Dan Bongino is the only choice. Bongino is the best choice for this position. Anybody else is a downgrade. Anybody else is not going to fix the Secret Service like Dan Bongino can. So at this point, just waiting for the call. Waiting for the call.
And it's interesting because I think that I don't want to tell all of his stuff, but I think Dan, he's told us that he's about 80-20 on it. He's got a pretty good life. He got a pretty good thing going with his radio show and his podcast. I don't think his wife's overly keen on it, but I think they're willing to do whatever Trump asks them to do. And so, if Dan decides to do it, I think he's the right man for the job. He's a good man for the job. He's certainly qualified to do the job, and he's serious. He's no nonsense, and the job will get done right. But I know that Trump hasn't asked him anything at this stage in the game that's official, but other than we're all speculating at this point. But I've got a feeling, sort of like right after the day after the election, or 2 days after the election, I sent a message to Kash Patel, and Kash couldn't say anything to me for a couple of weeks. And so, but we all knew what was going to happen there with Kash being appointed as director of the FBI. So, but I bet you Dan, he's, and by the way, you guys, if you're watching the Bongino show, I know you guys, what Dan is saying ain't always everything that's going on. Let's just leave it that way. He can only say so much. So when he says he hadn't heard anything official yet, I'll just say that I don't think that's true. Okay?
Also, the fact that they haven't picked anybody yet, because if it wasn't going to be Dan, then they would have picked this other guy. That's already the head of Trump's Secret Service. If they haven't picked anybody yet, that leads me to believe that it will be Dan. Something's holding it up, the decision being made or at least going public. But I firmly believe that it will be Dan. So we'll just have to see.
And we'll have to see how that affects the Dear American Network. We all have secrets, don't we? We all have secrets nobody can talk about. Everything is connected, folks. Everything is connected. Trust me when I tell you everything is connected. So who knows? Who knows? These drones, are we ready for the drones, man?
Let's talk about the drones.
Let's talk about the drones. So this is weird. So basically they've said there's this Iranian mothership that's sending these drones out. I was shocked at how big these drones are. These drones over New Jersey from Iran. This is Congressman Jeff Van Drew. He claims Iran has stationed the mothership off the U.S. East Coast, reportedly launching drones that are now flying over New Jersey. Now, this is over the area where Trump has property, he's got a golf course there. Trump spends time there. These are drones that are flying over, obviously surveilling a place where the president-elect spends some time. So yeah, this is very disconcerting. I recall the Chinese weather balloon that flew over all of our military bases, and we finally took it down somewhere over the eastern seaboard. But these drones are out there, and they're trying to tell us that we're not even seeing them, or they're not even there. But they're there. People are seeing them. I'm hearing some interesting reports from people. Let's play at least the first minute of this clip here if we can.
In focus now, Republican Congressman Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey, member of the House Judiciary Committee on the Hill right now. How do you address this at this point?
Well, here's the real deal, Harris. You know, I'm also on the Transportation Committee, on the Aviation Subcommittee, and I've gotten to know people. And from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly. Now, you know, we know there was a probability it could have been our own government. We know it's not our own government because they would have let us know. It could have been some really glorified hobbyist or hobbyists that were doing something unbelievable. They don't have the technology. But let's pretend that's possible. The third possibility was somebody, an adversarial country, doing this. Know that Iran made a deal with China to purchase drones, motherships, and technology in order to go forward. The sources I have are good. They can't reveal who they are because they are speaking to me in confidentiality. These drones should be shot down, whether it was some crazy hobbyist that we can't imagine or whether it is Iran, and I think it very possibly could be, they should be shot down. We are not getting...
I mean, that's probably enough right there.
Man. Yeah. My computer's messing up. Hang on 1 second. Russ, let's fix this. Put another earbud in. There we go. What a mess, dude.
It's a mess. This mothership talk is what's really, because I want to know what this mothership looks like. I don't think anybody has seen anything. I'm not seeing anything online, but they keep talking about this mothership. And I guess it's like the thing that's releasing these drones because they can only go so far. They're not coming from Iran, right? But where is this thing? Why can't we see it? They're saying it's there off the East Coast, which is where we are right now. Where is it?
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see it. And Iran, really? I mean, Iran is doing this, which, again, if they bought this technology from China, that makes more sense. But, yeah, I agree. I agree with Van Drew. We got to shoot these things down. I mean, why are we letting this Biden administration, dude? They are so hamstrung with just imbecilic, moronic, empty-headed, pudding-eating, window-licking behavior that they won't do what they need to do. I mean, you don't just fly into our airspace. I don't care if it's a hobbyist. I don't care if it's Israel. I don't care if it's Great Britain. I don't care if it's Justin Trudeau. I don't give a rat's ass who it is. You shoot them down. You don't just let them run amok and fly, hodgepodge over your nation and surveil things. What capabilities do these drones have? I mean, listen, are we talking about capability of carrying, some form of payload system? Is this something that can be used as a weapon? Can they be weaponized? Are there lasers on the thing? What's the deal? I mean, we're talking about something the size of a vehicle, a car, a minivan, an SUV in some reports. There were people who were saying, man, there was one flying over my cul-de-sac. I could see it outside. I stood on my front porch. I could see the thing. I'm sorry, dude. I'm just redneck enough. I'll tell you this. I would be taking shots at it. They might put me in jail, but I got some pretty high-powered rifles and that can really reach out there and touch some things,
I'm shocked nobody has yet, actually.
Yeah. I've killed some things at 1,000 yards, so I know I can reach out. If you're flying it over my cul-de-sac, we're gonna put some holes in it. We're gonna send it back to Iran with a leak. You know what I mean? There's gonna be some hydraulic fluid spilling out in the mothership, is what I'm saying. We're gonna put those suckers. I might not bring it down, but I guarantee you, we got some stuff that can crash into it. Why are we waiting? Why we do? What if What if there's EMPs on these things? If you have EMPs on there that have the ability, if that weather balloon from China had detonated an EMP over the eastern seaboard, we're talking about 3 years of having to rebuild a power grid. 3 years of darkness, dude. I mean, that's insanity that we are allowing these people to get this close to us. We can't, you just can't. Anyway, you're right, Striker Jay. Take the shots at it. I would. How are they going to track down the bullet to where it came from? You ain't wrong. I would do it. I mean, you fly one out here right now. It's a good clear day in Tampa, Florida. I'd smoke one of those things, dude. I'd love to do that. I would love to do that. And I see what you're saying, Kate. It's just one big distraction. But we need, that begs the questions too, right? What are they distracting us from, and who's doing the distracting? Who's doing the distracting? I need a shoulder launched missile at this point. I need some surface to air stuff to be able to take care of some drones. Something that seeks a little heat, baby. I'm ready to go. Let's pop them. What were you gonna say?
Let me. This is what bothers me. You talk about, why are we letting these things fly over us or get close to us? We've been letting this stuff slowly creep in for the past few years. Yes, there was the weather balloon. Then you have those Chinese and Russian jets that were off the coast of Alaska on their way in. Then you have the submarines that were like 50 miles or 90 miles off the coast of Florida, heading to Cuba, those Russian submarines. And now you've got Chinese Iranian drones flying over the East Coast.
Yeah.
And in all of those cases, we did nothing. The jets, I think we intercepted. The balloon, we eventually shot down after it flew over our whole country. It flew all the way across the whole country. That submarine, I mean, there's not much you're going to do there, but back up, man. They should know not to get that close. And this whole time, I think they're testing the waters to see what they can do, how much they can get away with. And they've been pushing buttons here and there. They've been pushing Biden's buttons, and they know he's not going to do anything. Yeah. And they only have a few more weeks if they're going to act. I've said for the past few months that if anybody is going to do anything, and I'm not trying to fearmonger, but if anybody is going to do anything, it'll be before Trump takes office, because Trump has no power right now. Trump has no power. The only power that he has is the fear that he will be taking office. But if our adversaries have been testing the water, seeing how close they can get, seeing what they can send into our country without them getting bombed by us, right? Yeah. They're going to act soon, I think, if they plan on it. If not, then thank God, But if they do, it's another Pearl Harbor situation, and it's the start of World War III.
Yeah.
Realistically, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right, and I want you to look at what's going on in our world. Okay, Vladimir Putin has now commanded. That's the word. He's commanded Russian citizens to get out of the United States. Basically saying, "Come on home." I mean, when they start, what was it in the Men in Black, in that movie, when they were all getting off the planet because they knew the planet was, all the aliens were going back home. There was like a mass exodus of the planet because they knew the Earth was about to be destroyed or whatever, so they were all taking their ships out. And I mean, when you have a foreign dictator like Vladimir Putin saying, "Okay, want all Russian citizens to come back home to Mother Russia, get out of the United States," that's not good. We know that there was some virus or something like that wound up missing out of a lab just the other day, like some big major deal. I can't remember where that was. Australia, right? And so, who knows? Maybe they're on some drones somewhere. They're going to launch viruses. I've already mentioned the EMP attacks. What if, man, the scenarios are crazy. And don't forget China. China's out there. They're sending some warships to Taiwan, right? I mean, aren't they kind of putting a fleet out there? What is it, like 16 of those?
16. Here, I have that.
Yeah, pull that
16 warships or something outside of Taiwan.
And so there's some stuff that's going on. But you're right. Joe Biden's not going to do anything about it. 16 Chinese warships emerge around Taiwan, according to what the country says. But yeah. And so that's from our buddy Eric Daugherty. And so, man, the world is in turmoil right now. It's in a crazy spot. It doesn't take but one one little slip of the trigger finger, and the deep state gets exactly what it is that they want, and they want confusion. They want chaos. If they can get chaos, then they can keep control. And they want to keep people in a state of confusion. So, this is why we pray. I'm being serious. This is why I pray every day, man, because I can't do anything about this. I can't do anything. I can get out here and run my mouth, but at the end of the day, I can't do anything about this. We've got to get the adults back in charge. We've got to pray that we get to January 20th when Donald Trump can do something about this. The right people are in the right spots. These confirmations go through for the appointees, and the cabinet is in place, and we got the right folks making the decisions, because Joe Biden's clueless. And Joe Biden's, he's perfectly happy to watch the world burn. I've said forever that the Democrats, the progressive left, they're perfectly willing to crash the plane. They want to crash the plane. Now, they might control the crash so that it's not a complete and total loss, but they're perfectly happy with a downward spiral, man. And right now we are in a global nosedive with what could potentially happen. I mean, it's not every day that we're sitting around talking about CEOs getting murdered in plain daylight, getting shot in the back by an assassin's bullet in Manhattan. And then we go from that to talking about massive drones in a mothership that's flying over New Jersey. And then, we're talking about Secret Service agents who can't hit an assassin from 5 feet away after shooting at him for 6. Like, what in the world's going on? This is insanity, dude. This stuff starts to stack up and is purely crazy. Meanwhile, Google wants you to know that dudes out there wearing dresses can get skincare cream by shopping with them. And it's like, and Nancy Mace is getting apparently attacked by somebody in a women's bathroom because they're an LGBTQ activist, and we're focused on what bathrooms people piss in. Like, what the hell's going on at this point? Like, what in the world is going on at this point? And I mean, the deep state loves it. They love it because it's chaos and it's confusion, and if they can keep that going, then they keep control. Man, boy. I don't want them to shoot no virus, man. I'm already tired. But I agree with what somebody said in the chat. I think I saw it a minute ago. World War III started with COVID. I don't know that I disagree with that in a lot of regards. So,
yeah, I mean, viruses are scary.
Think about what they're going to do between now and January 20th. Royce, I mean, think about what they're going to do. I mean, if we're talking about a mothership off of New Jersey.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
You didn't have that on your bingo card, did you?
No.
You're muted. You're muted. I think you're muted.
I'm not muted.
I can't hear you. Maybe I'm muted. Maybe I can't hear.
Your AirPods?
So,
can you guys hear me in the chat? You can hear me, right?
Let me see if my earbud died on me. See if this one will work.
Someone let me know if you can hear me.
Now say something.
Yeah. They're saying my audio is fine. Your audio is fine too. You just can't hear. Can you hear me?
There you go. This earbud I had in it died.
Boo! Get better earbuds.
I know.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, the virus.
I'm so ready to be back in my studio. Ready to be back in. The
I know. I miss you being back in your studio, but I'm excited to see you. I'm glad you're in town. Viruses are scary. COVID was again, I think, another test of the deep state. Like, how much can they control us? How badly can they cripple us as Americans? And they did pretty bad. But realistically, if one of these other countries can figure out how to shut down our internet, not even talking about the power, just straight up just the internet, we're done, man. Communication gone. Everything's gone. Like, everything runs in the internet nowadays. Right. There's not much that you can do. My job, your job, it all requires internet. If they shut something like that down, then we're radio silent on what's happening in the world, and they can come in and pretty much do whatever they want without us noticing until we get access to the mainstream media, I guess, on cable television. But I don't know. There's a lot of scenarios that could go down. It's scary.
A lot of them. That's why in my preparedness supplies, I have a case. I have a large case that has a label on it that says comms, and it's all communication equipment, whether it is a crank radio to walkie-talkies, the abilities to talk to people. If the internet goes down, it's going to be problematic. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I mean, here I am on this feeble internet in a roach motel in Wesley Chapel, Florida, getting ready to go be funny tonight. But all this stuff that we have put our security in, whether it's cryptocurrencies or the FDIC or the Fed or cash, all these things that we've trusted in, these institutions that the courts are going to be trustworthy. Hey, you can't trust in any of it anymore. The power. I mean, if people don't understand how massively fragile our power grids are. I mean, all it would take was a massive solar flare. It doesn't even have to be an attack. Just a solar flare that could shut our energy grid down for years. It's fragile. It is fragile, dude. We saw what happened in Texas with ERCOT a couple of years ago when that shut down because everything froze. So anyway, we have put our trust in things that don't exist. They're tangible, or I say that we think of them as tangible things, but they're not. The cash in your pocket's not real, but the Bitcoin ain't real. It's all value that's declared by somebody in some decision that's been made, and we've put our faith in all of these things. With tomorrow, they could just switch off. They could turn it off and say, "Yeah, you know what? That $100 bill, it's worth 10 cents." That happens. You got a problem, and trust me, I've seen it happen. I saw what the Russian ruble did after the fall of communism. I can remember going to Russia, and the Russian ruble, the equivalent of a Russian ruble to a dollar was like 2,400 rubles to $1 American dollar. So I've seen what can happen, and they would love nothing more than to see that happen in the great United States of America. So don't trust anything anymore, boys and girls, and that is my Christmas message to you. Oh, boy. Y'all check them out, Magic Mind, magicmind.com/Chad. Use promo code CHAD. I spell it Chad at checkout. But get you some Magic Mind, okay? And in the meantime, I need to take a nap before I go out and do these shows, Royce. Like I said, tonight will be I'm sure tonight, usually Thursday night's the small show. A few people will show up. We'll have a good time. My buddy Jesse Payton, he's on his way in. I think he arrives here about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then our show's at 8 o'clock tonight, Wesley Chapel. Then all through the weekend, 2 shows both nights, Friday and Saturday. But go to watchchad.com for all the fun stuff is. Wow. If you're still waiting on Prather Tees packages, we discovered that 20 packages. Got to get that off my tongue. 20 packages went missing. It's so, but we've either refunded or we are replacing what we can, and we're taking care of business. Cindy has worked real hard to get all of that stuff squared away. So a big shout out to Cindy taking care of things on that side of business. And anyway, all right, Royce. Well, I'll see you in a little while, brother. But
yes, sir.
I appreciate you, man. Y'all follow Royce at Royce Chamberlain on X. Follow me at Watch Chad. I'm excited about the new year, being a part of the Dear America Network and the Dear America Show. Graham's got some big ideas. I've got some big ideas. And you know what? We're not going to get any of them done without Royce. So there. And the internet. And the internet.
And
so
the
I pray
internet.
to God.
Need the internet.
And the scary thing about that is if the grid goes down, if everything goes down, you got about 72 hours. You got about 72 hours because the bad guys are going to realize that the good guys aren't going to come to save anybody. They're going to realize that. So there's preparation that's got to go into that stuff. Even now with the defund the police stuff, you got to be on the phone with the police getting either actively murdered or raped for them to even send somebody out there. So, let's see. Mom Moose said, how can we find reliable comms to listen when the stuff hits the fan? First time listener coming from Dear America. Well, Mom Moose, there are some ways to do that. So first of all, one of the things that I invested in a long time ago is I have the briefcase size. This is just in a nutshell. You can enlarge this idea or go bigger, but I've got a briefcase size solar generator. I've got a couple of those things. They fold up. They're about the size of a briefcase. They're heavy, but you can fold them out. It absorbs the sun, and so you've got some transferable power. So that way you can charge these things up. So I have some long-range walkies that we can, I can at least communicate with the people that are necessary to me in that moment. You can at least have some kind of communication, because at that point in time, you're not scrolling the internet, right? Obviously, you're just trying to communicate with people. This is a survival thing, and you got to be able to keep in contact with people. So I encourage you, do a little research on that kind of thing. Preparewithchad.com is a great website to go over there and check out some of the stuff. That's a free push for them. over at My Patriot Supply, but it's preparewithchad.com. Go check it out. They've got some good recommendations over there. And I'll tell you what, and Striker J is a great resource as well. He says, contact me. I've got a link to send for a radio that's good for 50 to 300 miles, depending on the antenna you have for it. That's true. There are a lot of guys that are, there's a lot of folks that are, either ham operators or have access to it. I miss the days of having a CB radio, dude. I mean, CB radio, you could contact people. Breaker 19, got a Mickey Mouse on a tricycle out here. I mean, what's your handle, good buddy? But I'm just saying, there's comms that are still out there. They seem antiquated to us now, but we might have to relearn some things if the crap really does hit the fan. But yeah. I know a lot of people who keep their ham radio license. Let's see, Slaughterhound. Love you, Slaughter. Chad and Royce want to say Merry Christmas. Send a celebratory super chat. Since we did it, we got our President Trump back into the White House. Slaughterhound, longtime fan. Fact Packer. You are a fact packer. You've been around for a long, long time, and I appreciate you. Thank you for the chat. And man, we got good stuff. We got good stuff going on for the future. I'm telling you, we're going to be fine, because at the end of the day, God's still in control. God is sovereign. God's got a providential hand, but that doesn't mean that you don't take responsibility for you and your family. You're called to have dominion, and whatever ground is under your feet is supposed to be yours with your authority standing in his power. So I'm encouraging you guys to have faith and have strength and have confidence. Listen, God didn't give you a spirit of fear. He gave you power, love, sound mind. Those are the things that are going to get you through the crisis situations, okay? You don't lose yourself mentally. You know the people that you love, you take care of them, and that power comes into play, man. And it's you're gonna be just fine. Take responsibility, but trust God's providential hand. He ain't done with us yet. He ain't done with me and you yet. He ain't done with Royce. I know he ain't done with you. So here we go. We got a little ways to go. All right, we're gonna jump off here. We love you guys. Watch Chad.com for all the fun stuff is. Don't forget to tune in to Graham Allen's Dear America every morning, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And then we're going to still be here. I am going to try to put out a Chad's Church tomorrow. We will see if we can get this tech to work and I can record something. Otherwise, we will talk to you on Monday. We are living in limbo, baby, on the road again. And for Royce, I appreciate all of you guys out there. Leave us a rating, leave us a review where podcasts are offered. And don't forget, like and share it, and let's grow our community. I appreciate you so much. Love you. God bless you. And we will talk to you next time. Bye.